How you doing, everybody? I'm artist Brian Sheffield. Welcome back. It's good to have you with me today. I'm going to paint over a piece of older canvas that I really didn't like, so we're going to call this one Big Blue. And got a few lines if I can clear up here, but nothing too serious. I imagine some of this old painting is going to try to come through, but I'm really just doing this for video anyway, so. Okay, we'll come off with it like that. Let me see, I needed some other glue. Like this. Go for some of this white. We're going to do our planet just like this. I'm not really worried about that bottom part anyways because we're going to cover it up with mountains. Anyway, just come in with black and we'll end up with we're calling this one Big Blue, so we want a nice blue glow around there. And, I'm going to do this one similar to Sunset Experience because it's the same size canvas. It's really big, 20 inches by 24 inches. It's pretty good size. And when I finish this step, I'm going to take a break and let this dry real good because there's some other stuff I want to come in and do. I'm going to do a lot of highlighting in it, just like we did the Sunset Experience. I may even time 6 it and put it to the same song. Have to be kind of quick with this because this paint dries kind of fast and I'm kind of tied for space here too. My work table's almost too small for this. Looks like I'm going to have to section it out to get the right effect. keep going until we get all the way across. We got all kind of flecks coming off on, that's really cool. So you can tap that down and make it become part of the painting. Kind of run your hands over it, like that. And you want to come back in with this black on the edges. But just enough to fade it in. In certain spots. Then you come back in with this white and you pop them stars just on the edge. Like that. Now we're gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna let my place. Well, wait. Almost, not quite. We gotta lift this planet up. Now when we come back, we're gonna do our highlights in our sky, and then we'll come back and do some landscape stuff. Okay, we're going to come out and black out some mountains on the sides here for the background. Just blacken it out. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about how far the black goes down, because we're going to do other stuff. So you ain't got to be concerned with how far it goes down. Damn it. Just got paint all over my dadgum brush. I got to rinse it out now. Well, you pull these up. And now you just leave them like they are. So you can have that blank out on the sides. And now we're going to come back and do a lot of highlighting in our sky. Then we'll come back with some trees, because the sky is the furthest thing away, and you always want to paint the furthest thing away first. I've got to rinse out a good brush here. And we'll get started on these highlights here in just a second. Here we go. I'm ready. Anyway, you kind of dap around in there so you get a good concentration of paint in there. You come in, and this can be a sun or a planet, however you see it. You want to come in and pop in some of these white highlights. You can see this white turn to light blue, like I knew it would. That's why I'm calling it Big Blue. And these highlights is what makes the whole piece pop. Of course, you know that. Y'all that's been watching. takes a good long while for me to do my pieces. I don't do them in 10 minutes. Boy, this paint's got me sneezing today. Got me sniffling. Wintertime's almost over with. I hope I don't get a cold. I ain't had one this year so far. Thank goodness. Now the reason I'm not detailing all of that down there is because it's going to be covered up. So I'm not really concerned with that. I want to get these highlights here on this planet and this sky. Kind of really make it pop out. And I'm not going to do the electric thing in this. I figured I would just kind of go along and do it in more of an abstract fashion and work my way along with these lines, these rip lines. And you just kind of keep going, and it takes a good long while to do this. I might even have to do it in stages because it takes so long, and I'm halfway bent over the canvas and it makes your back hurt. I'm 48 years old, I'm not 15. Bring it all the way out. Don't be afraid to get into this black some coming up. It'll blend the two together and make it'll bring that fade off in there. And you just keep working and keep working. You're going to have more detail closer. You want the detail to kind of fade off as you go away. You want more detail the closer you get to your planet, and then, or your sun, whichever it is, the way that you see it. I guess this could be a blue dwarf, huh? So you want more detail closer, and then less as you get away. And some spots you're going to have more detail, and some spots you're going to have less detail. And the ones you have less detail, like this spot right here, I could bring a tree up in here, see, and not cover that up, but you know, kind of do a tree thing coming off this way. And we'll do that later. Right now we want to get all of this in here. It just really depends on how the rip comes out as to what it is that you do next. So it really is kind of random. I mean, you start off with a general idea of what it is that you want to do. Like I wanted one big planet with a big thing coming out, so that was my general thing. Beyond that, you really don't know exactly what's going to happen sometimes, and that's okay. Just keep pinning off with this white. All you're really wanting to do is just kind of accentuate these rip lines. You don't want to cover them up. You don't have to hit every little spot. You just want to accentuate. So for you ladies that's watching, it's like getting a purse for an outfit, I guess. You know, the purse isn't the whole outfit. The shoes aren't the whole outfit, but you use one thing to insinuate the other thing. And then women, boy, I tell you what, I really don't like waiting on them to get ready, man. It takes forever. For them to get ready to go to the movies or dinner or whatever, wherever it is that y'all are going. Have some fun. Right, and enjoy each other's company, and that's what it's all about, everybody. Enjoying each other's company. You wouldn't be watching if you didn't enjoy my company, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm not feeling very preachy today. I want to concentrate on this because I want to do a good job. I'm already liking the way this one's turning out. Liking it a whole lot. Anyway, you just kind of keep doing your thing here. I really don't have anything in particular I want to talk about today. So, I guess it's going to be just all brushwork. Uh-oh, I got off into that black a little bit and it was still tacky. It stuck to my hand. Might have to burn the sides. Anyway, you keep going, and remember I told you this liquid paint that I'm using is it has a much higher pigment rating, so it doesn't fade near as much as what a spray paint would, and it'll just kind of sit on top instead of blending. It'll blend some, but not a ton. Anyway, you come off like that, and I'm gonna take me another little break, and we'll come back and do some mountain stuff in the bottom. After you finish your highlights up there, you don't want the top of your mountain above that. You don't want to cover up your highlights that you've done. You worked so hard on them. So kind of get them in here like this, and we're going to do like we did in Moonlight Sonata. We're going to spray black. And then we're going to spray white on top of that. And lift this up. And then come back with a small piece I've got special made up just for this. just come in and do little marks. Just like this. And you'll follow along these mark lines. You'll come back along these mark lines to accentuate and highlight. Actually, I didn't go up quite high enough on some of that. You really kind of gotta go along that edge there. You gotta fine detail it. Anyway, we're gonna come in with our smallest brush, our smallest round. You come back and you highlight this edge, and you really don't want a perfectly steady hand to do this. You want a little bit of variation off in there. You don't want a nice smooth line. That's not what you're looking for. You want a little bit of variation in there. Here, I'm going to bring this over here and do my highlighting. I'm going to be a little closer to it instead of reaching all the way across the canvas. Come and highlight the top edge of your mountain. Remember, this paint runs off at a certain rate. You got to keep dipping. Because you got to separate this mountain from this planet, because they're basically the same colors. And come off like this. And you want to leave some of that variation in there. Really highlight that edge real good, and it'll give it a defined look. Remember, you want the dark on the bottom and the light on the top, and that's where you want to put your highlight. Like this, and just kind of keep working it till you get all the way across. And just like that. I'm going to come back and close this up for a minute. Then you get your black. You want to kind of hit the bottom here. And just like that. Come back with this blue. white on top of that. Just like that. And this is how we make our mountains. Our closer up ones. And I don't necessarily want to highlight these. I can just about leave them like they are, because you want it to have kind of a different look there. And just like on the other side, you come in with this black. I know this is opposite of what you see a lot on spray art, but that's okay. It doesn't all have to be exactly the same. And you come off with it like that. You want to kind of follow this line. Come off with it just like that. Oh, spilled my oil. God damn it. That's alright, I needed to change my oil anyways. Anyway, I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then we're going to come back with our trees and a bird. For the final step, everybody, you want to come in with your black. I'm going to, of course, I'm going to be using my liquid black. I'm not using a spray for this step. But I want to come in with 2 small trees. I'm going to do one here and one there. And then I'm going to do 2 larger. I'm going to do some other tree limbs and stuff coming in from the sides like this, and I'm going to do a little flight of ducks, and then your piece will be finished and you'll be done. Anyway, you come right there where you're right there on the side of your planet. You want to drag up, make you a nice big fat tree. Of course, you know this takes a few minutes. The paint tries to stick to you a little bit, but that's okay. You want to make sure you get good coverage. Remember, I burned this outside, so it's got a little bit of relief to it. So sometimes you have to run the brush in the opposite direction to get it to cover. That's okay. You just kind of get you a general theme going on with the way the trees are going to lay. And there's one. You kind of want to pull this off. So you drag some paint down this way, and then you take your thumb and you do it off in directions like this. It'll make it look like roots coming out. Make it look like it's grounded right there. And now you do the same thing over here. You will come into this point right here. You can make any kind of shaped tree you want to. Down here on the Gulf Coast, we got big old huge oak trees. When I say huge, they're not that tall, but they're really fat. Really fat oak trees. And they've got a lot of branches coming off. And they retain their leaves year round. But in the fall, they dump a ton of them. I mean, like any other tree would, but they continue to grow throughout the winter time because it really doesn't get that cold here. This year it hasn't been below, I want to say it hasn't been below 31. So we've had a pretty warm summer. And I was able to accomplish a good bit of spray art for y'all, and I'm happy about that. For those that watch. This weather's really cooperated a lot. Where you keep coming off with your tree. We're going to move to the big brush here in a second and do our larger trees coming in. Then we'll come back to the smaller brush and we'll do some ducks flying in the background. Anyway, same thing on this tree. You bring some paint down in here just like this, and then take your thumb, kind of go off in the direction of where roots would go. It'll make your tree look grounded, and it thins the paint off as it goes. It'll make your tree look like it's growing from somewhere. Anyway, you rinse that and come back in with this big brush. Remember, you want to push your paint down up in there and then come back with a dip over the top and kind of roll your brush around because you don't want it to spill. And when you black this out, you got to be careful. You don't want to blacken out too much. But you do want to come off with some nice effects there. Come off with a nice looking tree. Don't be afraid to keep dipping your brush, because you need plenty of paint to do this, because you've got a large area that you got to cover. You can go off in several different directions. Remember, you want to come across the canvas a pretty good bit, so the thickness of your limbs needs to match what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So remember, we're trying to bring focus right here in the middle. That's the point of this, is to bring focus and make people look at your work. I've seen trees do funny things, and sometimes they'll put off bigger limbs in a spot and smaller limbs in a spot. So you just kind of go with that, however it is that you think it would look. Got a particularly bumpy area there, right there, where I'm trying to come off at. Anyway, you come off of something just like this and fixing to move to the other side. And do another tree coming in this way. Do some limbs coming in on the side here. I'm gonna move over here next to my cam, so got to move so far. Well, you just kind of keep going along with this. Do you another limb coming in? Big limb on this side. Big limb coming in. And I'm just going to do the basic limb here, as one side goes off, up, north, and you can have the other one kind of coming off this way. Another one that comes down, and you want to kind of fill in these spaces. we'll come back and touch these little limbs up with a smaller brush so that I think it's about time to move to our smaller brush, everybody, and we'll get it going and do some finer detail here on the end of our limbs. Go ahead and put our birds in, and then we're going to call this piece done. We're about 5 minutes away from there, baby. 5 minutes away, and we got this. Anyway, so now you've got your focus just about in the middle. So we want to come in with our birds here, draw a triangle to a fine point, and then a round head, and then an oval body, just like that, and then flick for the tail. And then you put you a triangle shaped wing. Either up or down, it doesn't matter, whichever way you want to do it. We're going to do it both ways for this piece. Show you how to put these ducks in there. Just put you a couple. I think I might do 4. Might do just these 2. Anyway, one of them, you variate the size because you don't want them right on top of each other. Just like in nature, you know, they tend to fly in a pattern, but they'll be further. They don't fly right on top of each other. So when you bring that down to a fine point, I think we need at least one more bird in there. Let's do a small one though, or a small one back here. Flick off the tail just a little bit. Now we'll put his wing down too. And we're going to call this one finished, people. And there you have it, everybody. Big Blue.